Yes, we're starting early because I have stuff to do. Amazingly enough, what's happening, people? It's just my aunt went in the hospital and my life has just come to an end. It's just, I'm so tired right now, I can hardly see. But I made it. We're going to do the advice column today. We're going to do DNN tomorrow. And then I must get under the bed for the rest of the weekend. That's what I'm going to do. So it's good to see everybody. We have our usual 25 advice questions. For those of you who are looking for what's happening, those of you who are looking for an answer to your question, listen to me, but also hopefully you can log on to YouTube and you can see what the chatters have to say about your question. Or sometimes, my advice, they got comments about that too. So, be sure that you check both things to get the full and complete picture in response to your advice question submission. If you want to submit a question to this show, you look on Debsterism.com, Debsterism, the name of this channel, DEBSTERISM.com, and click the button that says Get Advice, fill out the form, and then you send it in. It'll come into our folder for advice questions, and then my lovely cousin Candace will select your question, hopefully. It's not guaranteed, but it sounds like lately has been picking most of them. So let's get started since we got 25 questions. Question number 1. This is a female in the 18. Forgot to turn my reading lamp on. Hold on a second. There we go. I need to be able to see this paper. All right. She's 18 to 21 from Denver, Colorado. And she says, summary of issue. Should I break up with my boyfriend because I'm really conflicted? I'm 20 years old. We've been together with my boyfriend, who's 21, for more than 3 years. Occasionally, he makes jokes and end up making fun of me, and I get mad at him and I tell him to stop. No one else but him laughs at these, quote, jokes. It's like he wants to bring me down by joking about my insecurities. It got to a point over a year ago where I told him if he kept doing that, I'd end things because it shows that he doesn't respect me. I just keep forgiving him, though. Today, he made fun of my lisp. He knows that I recently got jaw surgery and I can't speak properly because I'm in the recovery process. Yet he still did that. He knows how insecure I am about this. I decided to block him on everything while I decide if I should end things with him or not. What would you do, Deb? What about you ladies of the squad? Can you tell me if this is a good reason enough to end things, or should I just forgive him like I always do? Okay, I'm going to say this one more time. God, how many times do I have to repeat myself? Because you girls, we keep getting a new crop of 18 to 21 and 22 to 27-year-olds who act like they just don't know nothing. The bottom line is this. You are with a man, okay? You tell him, if you do X, Y, and Z, we're through, okay? Then he turns around, he does X, Y, and Z, and what do? You just act like it didn't happen, or you say, oh, it's okay, or he goes to some big conniptions, crying crocodile tears, and you forgive him. Now, when you do those three loser behaviors, what are you teaching this man? You are teaching him that you don't mean shit that you say. That's what you're teaching him. You are teaching him that you are going to run your mouth, but you're not going to really ever do anything. You're going to make it sound like you are so big and strong and have all these boundaries and all these standards and high standards for your man's behavior towards you. But when the shit hits the fan, what do? Sit there and crumble and you don't do anything. So, young lady, what you have done is create a monster. He doesn't feel any reason to stop doing this stuff that tortures and hurts you. Why? Because you always forgive him. And what does that mean? You give him the leave the door open for him to continue to do it, and then you forgive him again. So what you have done now is block him on everything, which sounds like the move that you should have made a couple of years ago. And then, you should keep him blocked. He's going to try to find you. He'll probably come to your house or something like that to ask you why you tripping and say, look, I told you before. I'm not going to take that kind of disrespect. You can keep on doing it with your bad jokes that only you laugh at because it's really not funny. And then you think that I'm supposed to be okay with it. I'm not. I've told you before. I've given you every chance I can possibly give you. I'm done with chances. I'm done with you. Then you slam the door in his face and you go and find you a man that knows how to talk to you and treat you. It's not hard. I mean, they're all jacked up in one way or another. You just have to find one that's jacked up in a way that you can tolerate and that doesn't disrespect you. That might be, I don't know, he chews with his mouth open, or I don't know, you hate his friends, or I don't know, he's too short, or he weighs too much, or he's too skinny. I mean, something like that, where you make some kind of, major adjustment in expectations, but it doesn't really impact you as far as how you're treated and how you're loved and how he makes you feel about yourself. Okay, those are the kind of things I'm talking about. All this kind of stuff that's designed to make you feel bad, it lower your self-esteem, and chip away at your confidence, where he just digs, he finds your insecurities, and then he just digs in them. That is a man who really doesn't like you very much. You need to recognize it and let him go, okay? This is sad. How is the volume today? Does it sound too, hey, Shay? Is it too loud? My friend came over and worked on my computer, and he said, I'll adjust your volume on your system. I'm like, oh, is that what you did? But I just want to know, how does it sound to you? How does it sound? Nobody's answering me. Hey, Tata. Let me show Tata's comment. It's good? Okay. I remember when you used to huff and puff when you were Girl, yeah, I know you've been around for a long time. You're right. When I first started, and it was 10 advice letters, I was just all put out. I just thought that was just a lot. And now I regularly do 25. And thank you for sharing this. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it shows that something around here has a positive effect. Because when these letters come in, I tell you, sometimes I'm like, am I talking to myself? Is nobody paying attention? Because it's the same stuff over and over. Just so you guys know, I mean, last year it was the year before, I was going to do a webinar on saying no. I've decided to do that most likely during the holidays when things are really slow and people don't have anything fun to do except be bothered with their family. We'll try to make something so that you go into the new year, right? Your New Year resolution is going to be to take better care of yourself. Now, as far as February goes, this is another sidetrack, sorry. I don't know if I still don't have the stamina to do it, but I could probably do a week. Probably do February, a week of February. But a video every day, I just can't do it. I just get too tired. Plus, I have new responsibility taking care of my aunt that I didn't used to have before. So it's pretty putting a big strain on my energy and my time to do that. But I'm thinking I could do a week, so I'm going to plan for that. But we are going to do, so you guys get ready for the announcement. I'm going to schedule it. Look at my calendar schedule. We're going to have a webinar on saying no. Okay? It's not going to talk about nothing else but that. Saying no. And let's see. What's Sliver talking about? Oh, yeah. Yes, I know we've had many conversations, Sliver. So yeah, you have come a long way. You got your gangster up now. Okay, wait, another side story. Lord have mercy. I have crazy neighbors. Okay, why at 2:30 in the morning, wake up to hear somebody using my favorite term, calling these other dudes monkey MFs, right? You know, I love it. That's my favorite way to cuss people out. So, you know, that immediately got my attention. I sat up in the bed. I was like, oh, okay, what's going on here? And so I go and peep out the window like nosy people do. And the neighbors across, straight across from me, it's like 3 guys live there. And the two that is the main 2 that are, you know, that rent the place. I guess the other dude was staying there on a couch or something. But what they did, they took dude's couch down the stairs and set it out at the curb. And then the dude was steady cussing him out, talking about his couch. And then they're pitching his stuff off the side of the 2nd floor railing towards the street. So you hear the stuff going boom, bam, boom, crashing, glass breaking and stuff, metal clanging. And it's like, this is at 2:30 in the morning. They didn't give no fucks at all. They was out there cussing each other out. And so then, you know, the dude got mad because they set his couch outside. I guess that was his bed. And then he was telling them, I'm going to be homeless. I'm going to be homeless. And they're like, we don't give a fuck. And so it was like all this back and forth. And then dude, you know, wanted to punch one of the dudes. Now, these dudes, I mean, they're not very tall, but they're very lean and they're extremely muscular. I would not mess with them at all. These are African dudes. I would mess with these dudes. I mean, so dude want to get out there and go to Fifth City with these clowns. They beat his ass right quick. So the white lady who lives downstairs from me and her husband, they called the police because then they got scared. I'm just looking out there like Sealy, like, you know, looking at the fist flying. It was just crazy. And now I'm thinking about it. It's like, this was like something off a Def Comedy Jam. And this is a true story. It's like my life. All the weirdest things you can think of always happened to me. But yeah, so dude is homeless now, and they didn't really care. They pitching his stuff over the side of the rail. They throwing his stuff. It was crazy. Yes, honey. Just, oh, that is just the best. And so that's how I spent my early morning, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so tired. I haven't seen them since. I don't know what to do because when I see them, you know, I'm going to bust out and start laughing because you know I don't have any sense. So anyway, now let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Question number 2. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Ontario, Canada. Summary of issue. I asked my roommate to use a more neutral or kind tone when bringing up issues, and she took it wrong. For context, I have a history with trauma and verbal abuse. Harsh tones are extremely triggering for me. However, I understand that not everyone can always control something like this, and I can absolutely understand and forgive someone for not being able to manage it 100% of the time. I do not blame her for my trauma, and I realize that I also have a part in managing my own reactions. But this happened the other day. I entered the kitchen, and she talks to me in a harsh tone about a few household things, putting grocery bags under the sink instead of tucked into my shelf, and rearranging the furniture. I later realized that she was actually upset about something else that had happened. I had a house guest whose snoring disrupted her and promptly apologized about it, and she was projecting that anger onto these things. Yesterday, we sat down at a roommate meeting, and I requested that we regulate and manage strong emotions before bringing them up. Her response was that conflict is inevitable, and she would prefer to bring things up as they occur, even if she's still upset about it. I can understand this perspective, but I don't think it's outrageous to request a more respectful tone. It was also conflicting because even though she spoke about addressing things immediately, I felt like she was angry about something that wasn't brought up until I said something. I also don't believe that conflict equates to arguing and being angry. To me, I prefer that conflict be resolved in a calm and level-headed environment. Again, I realize that's not always possible, but as adults, is this an unrealistic expectation? Yes, it is, because you know what you're trying to do? You trying to regulate everybody's words and attitude because you have trauma. Don't nobody give a shit about your trauma. Go see a shrink for that. You a grown woman. Handle your business. It is nobody on this world's responsibility to be catering to your snowflake ass feelings. Get over yourself. So you do some stuff that gets on somebody else's nerve and they check your ass about it. Then you just gonna deal with it. That's what the adults do. That's like what it is like in the real world. Ain't nobody here your mommy. I'll be catering to you and treating you all soft and gentle, speaking to you in a low tone of voice. Nobody gives a shit about your feelings but you. Remember that as you go through life, okay? Just put your big girl panties on and just deal with what comes. If you don't want to deal with what comes, then make sure that you don't irritate people. And then this won't ever be a problem. A lot of the time you could live by yourself. But you still have, like me, crazy, crazy neighbors that irritate like everybody. Like the whole block got irritated. But that's what happens. And you just can't go around like that would be like me going across to the dudes across the thing over there. You guys need to regulate your emotions and talk to each other in soft tones and not be harsh with each other. Can you imagine cuss? They would still be cussing me out. So, girl, I'm just trying to use that as that. You don't control what other people do. I mean, you can ask them, but they have every right to tell you no. And they, because that's just how it's going to be through life. People are not going to do everything to you and talk to you and treat you the way that you want to. You have boundaries, though. You can just say, well, I don't like this. I'm going to move out. Or if someone's your friend and they talk to you like this, you can say, I don't want to be friends with you more. You have those rights. But what you don't have the right to do is tell other people what to do and how to do it and when and where and anything else. Okay, unless you're an advice columnist like me and they write to you and ask you to help them direct their life like that. But ain't nobody writing you to ask you shit, so keep your mouth quiet. I'm glad you wrote those so you could get a reality check, little snowflake chick. Because this, life ain't about you and your feels and your traumas. Because really, I want you to understand this. Nobody gives a shit about you and all these things here. I'm sorry, Nerly. That's, how snowflakes melt as soon as they get a little heat to them. That's immediately the image that came to mind. She got a little heat on her behind and she want to have a meltdown. And if the appropriate thing to be, if your friend said that about, addressing things immediately, you should have pointed that out to her. Well, then why is it that I'm just now hearing about this thing, you've been irritated about the snoring, but it sounds like you apologize, but it must have been brought up before. So that's a little bit confusing, a little unclear to me how that happened. But no matter what, that was the point at which you should have, brought that up, but you didn't. You didn't say anything, so it's too late now. That window of opportunity has closed. Question number 3 of 25. We got to use a 25 question today. I don't know, because, I had a boss who made me take this class called conflict resolution. This training called conflict resolution. This was some years ago. She made me take the class because I was working and people was getting on my nerves. They were getting on my nerves and they kept doing stuff that I didn't like. And so, I was telling people about themselves right and left. And then so it's like a whole office full of white folks breaking down, crying all over the place. And, pouting and running and telling people that I talked to them and it was like her. She was harsh to me. That's so harsh. And I'm like, yeah, but is it true? If it's true, I mean, I'm not lying on you. I'm not cussing you out. I'm just telling you about yourself. You did some stuff that got on my nerves and now I'm telling you about it. But my boss was like, well, you can't, they call me Miss Deb. You can't talk to people like that. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. That's what she said. So she says, there's other ways that you could say this and all this. And I'm like, yeah, there probably is. But I didn't feel like thinking about it in that moment. I just wanted them to leave me alone and I just wanted to tell them about themselves. So that's what I did. So she signed me up and made me take that training. It didn't help, though. I mean, I had the information, though, which is good. But do I use it? Hell no. Because I don't care. I'm not trying to resolve the conflict. I want you to get out of my face. That's how we're going to resolve the conflict. You can take your attitudes and your funky behavior and your crazy nonsense and get out of my face. Now, conflict resolved. That was so easy. I think they need to hear it too. So I'm like, I'm not about that life where I'm going to be sitting there struggling to try to find nice words to tell you about yourself. I'm just going to tell you. And, my usual thing is 5 words and less. I'm going to just tell you, and then you just deal with it. Well, these people, the modern people are so soft. As soon as you say anything to them, they just want to crumble. Everybody wants like a participation trophy type treatment. Like, they're oh so wonderful. No matter what they do, they're special and unique. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. So anyway, let's move on to question number 3. This is a male in the 20 to 34 age group. He's from someplace called Thorn, South Yorkshire in the UK. Some issue. I'm noticing things happen around my house, and my girlfriend denies involvement, even though she's obviously the culprit. I'm in a relation. I'm 33 in a relationship with a 26-year-old. Well, there's your problem right there. I'm writing about some odd things happening, and the only person in my house other than my daughter would be my girlfriend. We've been together a little over 3 years, and she's jealous of the attention my daughter gets, even though she's here only every other weekend. Okay, then he talks about how she doesn't really come over that much when the daughter's here, blah, blah, blah. I could tell this is like long. The first instance of problems was I bought a Lego set for my daughter and it disappeared. I put it up in her room in the bag we got from the store. We go to get it 2 weeks after and it's gone. So the daughter only comes over every other week. So that would make sense. And it's gone. The bag is still in the location where I left it though. The second thing is shoes. Shoes were brought to my house when my daughter's mother purchased. She wore a different set of shoes the next day. However, the day after that, the new shoes were missing. Fast forward 2 months and I'm going through my closet shelf looking for something unrelated. I pick up a random shoebox to move it and it was kind of heavy. Thinking that was weird, I opened it up and guess what? The missing shoes were inside. Now you know that little kid could not reach up on that shelf, so you know who did that. The third thing that happened, I had an old friend follow me about 6 months ago on social media. I followed back, but we never really talked. No posts were liked, etc. A month or so later, I noticed what appears to be me being blocked by this person. I was like, whatever. Fast forward to today, I go to my profile's block list, and there they are. In all of these instances, since she's my girlfriend, is the only one at the house outside of my daughter, who's 8 years old, I ask her about it. I don't accuse, I just ask. The first two, she said no, so I just accepted her answer. However, she did get defensive. Maybe it was my daughter. I asked her as well. By the way, the Lego set is still missing. It's probably at her house. Now that when I noticed the person blocked, I asked her about it. No one has access to my socials unless they have my phone or a PC. I only hang out with my girlfriend, daughter, and parents. So in my eyes, she's the only logical conclusion. However, when I asked, I didn't cast blame. Simple questions. It's not a you did this. She got defensive, accused me of blaming her, left, and basically broke up with me over text. The first two incidents weren't brought up when I asked about the third. As mentioned, no one at my house other than these two, not even my parents. Either my daughter lost the Lego set, which isn't small, and didn't tell me the truth and put her shoes in the shoebox in my closet on the shelf by herself, which wouldn't be a behavior experienced before, and the block is just something random. Someone has come into my house and moved these things. Or it was my girlfriend. Is my thinking off and coming to the conclusion that these were my girlfriends? Well, yes, it was her. That's why she decided to break up with you, because she knew you was finding her out. Dude, this is not like rocket science. This is a duh. Now, the part that bothers me is that you continued a relationship with a woman who you knew was jealous of your 8-year-old child. Why would you do that? Ain't no coochie in this world that good that you got to sacrifice what you know she could be saying or doing to your child behind your back. And now you see she's doing this passive aggressive stuff to torture your child. She took your child's brand new shoes and hid them. She took your child's toy and your child never did get to play with that. And then she's going to torture you by blocking your friend, someone who you wanted to have contact with outside of her. The best thing that you could do is go back. Now, she blocked you, go block her too. And then be happy that you escaped. You didn't handle this well at all. You were supposed to cuss her out and say, I know you stole that stuff. Give me the money for that Lego set. Your bitch ass was the only one up in my house. Now get out. I don't trust you, but give me my money for that Lego set so I can replace it. And then you and your raggedy kid and your bad attitude and jealousy get out of my life. That's what you were supposed to do. But you didn't do it because you were a wimp. You just want to sacrifice your kid. So your kid's crying over her shoes, and then the toys that you purchased her that she would have enjoyed playing with, she didn't even get to play with it because of your bitch-ass girlfriend. So you need to get your shit together. I don't know what kind of father you are. Piss poor one, in my opinion. You don't even defend your child. You don't protect her. You're more concerned with yourself and your sex life than you are your child and her mental health and her joy in life and her feeling of safety in her daddy's own house. You just didn't handle this well at all. And, my thing is like, she did all this stuff and you found out about it. What did she do that you don't know and the 8-year-old hasn't even told you? That's where my mind would be going. It's a big question mark in my mind. Be happy that she's gone and keep her away from your kid now. You know what I mean? This chick here, man, she need her butt kicked. You stupid too. You dumb. You just the worst. Question number 4. This is a man in the male 22 to 27 from Wichita Falls, Texas. Summary of issue. I met a girl I like in class and we exchanged info. She says that we should eat out, but it never happens. I text her and ask if she's seeing someone basically, and I got ignored forever after that. And you 22 to 27? Long story short, we met beginning of September in class. We got along well in person, and she said we should go out together to eat. I didn't make a big fuss and said, yeah, okay, and kept the conversation going. I text her a bit, but I notice it's hard to reach her. She doesn't respond often, and if she does, it's hours later. She doesn't respond to the group chat messages we set up as a group of 5 either. I see she's online a couple of times a day, but she never responds to the group chat, but she'll respond a few times to me. I decided to shoot my shot and basically texted that I'd really like to get to know her, but if she was seeing someone, I wouldn't want to intrude. No response for days. It's been a week now. A friend texted in the group chat asking when we could all meet, and she never responded, so I texted her again, not mentioning the asking out thing, and said when would she be available to meet as a group. She doesn't respond to me, but responds to the group chat after I sent that message. I then asked her why she's ignoring me and if I did something wrong. Yet no answer. What does her behavior mean? Her behavior means that she thinks you're stupid. You know why she thinks you're stupid? Because you 22, well, I'm assuming you're 22 and about to finish up college next year, right? That would be about right. And you have yet to use your telephone like a grown man to have a conversation with a woman that you want to ask out. You did every single communication with her via text when you already know she doesn't really respond to text. Could that possibly be because she doesn't like texting? That never dawned on you? That never occurred to you that she hates texting like me? I'm not going to respond to a man who texts me all fucking time. I'm not going to do that. Because if you want to talk to me, then you need to call me. That's what you need to do. Because that's what adults do. And at 22, that's what you are, a grown man. You need to behave like one. This texting shit y'all be doing, this is like coward move. You just want to text. It's so impersonal. I mean, I know you guys, your generation likes to do that, but think about how do you bond with a woman emotionally if you never have a conversation with her? She's staring at a screen, which is the same screen she stares at to get like notifications that bills are due and all the calendar notifications. It's nothing personal about a text. You guys you don't connect those dots. How many texts, you know how many texts I get a day like that? Oh, you know, these mailing lists that you buy something online, right? They add you to a mailing list and here they go. Oh, we're having a sale. Use this code and get 15% discount. And then on my online games I like to play, oh, you know, log on and get this bonus amount of money. You know, so it's like all day long notifications. Text, that's what a text is. It's a notification, somebody trying to get in touch with you. It's nothing personal. I ignore them. So text, it's just not the move, dude. You want to establish something with a young lady, pick up the fucking phone and call her. Even if you only talk to her for 2 or 3 minutes, it's a personal. She gets to hear your voice, hear you breathe, hear you laugh. You can flirt. All the stuff that you can't do over a text. So that's why she's ignoring you. Okay. And that's what you did wrong. And that's what you need to get it together. Now, this here is over. She's not going to respond to you because she thinks you're stupid already. So move on to the next one. And the next woman that you meet and you have interest in, don't text her to death. Call her. Okay. You only text stuff to like confirm something. Like I'm on my way. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Something like that. You know, I'm about to come to your house. Do you need me to pick up something at the store? I'm right by Safeway. You might text something like that, but you can still call for that too. Men need to realize that. And if you want to get a woman's emotions stirred up, she needs to hear your voice. Okay. She needs to hear your deep, masculine voice, sexy voice. She needs to hear it. She's not going to get to do that if you texting her half to death. Okay. Women are very auditory. We need you to call. Oh, girl, these men, they try. And can you imagine somebody 22 years old trying to ask you out by a text? You're right. You should be ignored forever. I mean, like until like the next ice age forever. Dummy. Question number 5. This is a young lady in the 20 to 34 age group. She's European from London. The male in question is 28 to 34 as well. Summary of issue. My partner of 11 years told our son that he has remembered that mom is a whiny baby. It was a quote joke because I said I might just take a nap before dinner because it would take a while and my partner hadn't been cooking that long yet. I'm sick and still having to work overnight shifts and have been whiny, I guess, because I don't feel well. I also had to wake up a lot in the middle of the night today before the parent-teacher conference and to pick up my child from school. I really just don't think it's appropriate to bring our child into a joke like that. It seems really disrespectful and inappropriate. When I talked to my partner about it, he laughed and said sorry, but now my son is continuing to joke because he doesn't understand that it's inappropriate. Am I just too into my feelings about this? Is it normal for father and son to joke that way? Am I being a whiny baby who can't take a joke? No, your husband, boyfriend, partner, whatever the hell he is a jerk. First of all, you sit your son down and say, look, I'm going to tell you something. Hopefully your man, that idiot that you called your man is there as well. And say, I'm going to tell both of you this. Don't you ever try to make me the brunt of a joke again, or I will leave you both in this house by yourselves and you can joke about me that used to be here. That's what it's going to be, because I'm not going to take that disrespect. You're going to talk to me in a way that makes sense, that is not emotionally or mentally damaging. It's going to show respect and it's going to show the proper admiration for my role in this household and how I take care of both of you. If you cannot do that, then you let me know and I'll pack my stuff and leave, and y'all can just be up in here by yourselves and make all this shit happen by yourselves. And you tell your son, it's like, you do that again, I'm going to bust you in your mouth. Because one thing that you're not going to do is think that you're going to act a fool like your stupid daddy. That's not going to happen. You're a kid and you need to remember your place. Don't you ever talk to me like that again as long as you live. I don't care how old you are. You don't make jokes about your mother. You show your mother respect and kindness. And anytime that you feel like you can't do that, especially as you turn into your teens and a young adult, get your shit and get the fuck out of my house. That's what you do. So I'm telling you now, I don't care whatever age he is. He needs to hear that now so he understands, the program under which he will be residing in that domicile. Other than that, he can go with his daddy and they can go live in a hut and tent in the woods or somewhere. Nobody cares where they go. But that's what I would have done on the spot. But I know you don't feel well and stuff. But it's amazing how, I get like magical energy and recovery strength like the Hulk when I feel like something like that is happening. I might be passed out for 2 days after, but I'm going to rise up and I'm going to check your ass real quick. So this kind of thing here, you're right, is totally inappropriate. But what you need to do instead of complaining to me about it is check those two idiots and let them know you do some shit like that again. You're going to be in this house by yourself. It's just going to be the two of you and I'm going to deuce out. And then do it. I find some place to go, pack your stuff and leave. You could be gone for a week, a couple of weeks, a month or something. Your son will be fine with his daddy. Don't worry about them. And then by the time they beg you to come back, people have a whole new attitude. Watch. But don't say that you're going to leave and then you don't do it. You have to follow through. But yeah, I would leave them sitting there. I'm just like, I left the boyfriend, okay, like what was I listening to? I think it was Jeffrey Osborne or something. And I was like in high school or something. And this little guy was supposed to be trying to be my boyfriend. And he made a joke about the music that I was listening to. And he called it Rudy Poot. I will never forget, because first of all, I'd never heard that phrase before. I'm a hood rat. We don't say stuff like that. And so then it's like, Rudy Poot. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? And then he was laughing like it was funny. It was an insult because it was, more urban music than what his family listened to. And so I'm like, oh, is that what's going on here? And I just got my stuff and I left. I haven't talked to that fool since. And it's like, I don't know. I don't like it when men try to make me feel bad about anything. Anything I like, anything I do, what I wear, how I style my hair, nothing. That's not your job in my life. Your job is to build me up. And if you can't do that, then you don't need to be here. But one thing we're not going to do, I'm not going to invest any emotions or time or anything, thoughts, nothing, in anybody who feels like they can attack me for fun and giggles. That's not on my agenda, and I really don't want it to be on you ladies' agenda either. The amount of disrespect that you guys write in every week and that you accept from these men and even people at your job and even your female friends and family members, just appalling to me. You don't do that. You don't let people talk to you and treat you that way. It makes you feel bad about yourself because you start absorbing that negative energy into yourself. It's like, well, if these people love me and they're smart and they say that this is it, then it must be true. Especially, if you don't have that kind of personal fortitude where you have to know it's me or them, and I'm always choose me. So I've leave so many people in the dust, so many people. They used to be friends, and you can't change who you related to, but you can definitely change your involvement with them. Like, cut that off. I've left jobs like on the spot. We're not doing that. This my world is all about me. And if you can't reflect the wonderfulness that I believe that I am, then you don't need to be here. And that's just the way it is. It's just sad. I think so, Sliver. Because there's a very few people that are let in like that. And you have to think of yourself as something that's a privilege for people to have in their life. Someone caring and fun who's going to always be there for them, got their back, all that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff. That should be a privilege that you don't bestow on everybody just because they want it. Okay? Yeah, just like, making people feel bad. I don't know what it is with these men who think that picking on women makes them look like big, kings on campus or something. I don't get that mentality. Question number 6. It's a young man at 22 to 27 age group. He's African American from Conroe, Texas. Oh, I know where that is. Summary of issue. How do I ask a female friend to stop touching me? I let her in the past, but I don't want to anymore. Hey, Auntie, I'm 24 and I had this girlfriend who's also 24 who is touchy during conversation and whatnot. In the past, I'd let it go. I let it go because I didn't really care. But now I have a girlfriend and I don't want any other woman touching me, platonic friend or not. Actually, with her, I care more because she's one of my few single female friends, and there have been some past instances of heavier touching, for example, sitting on my thighs once, that when I was single. For the first time since I got into this relationship, I ran into this friend on public transportation, and we were talking, and multiple times she was lightly tapping my arm while I was seated in front of her. Okay, why were you seated and she was standing? Or is that, I'm not understanding. She was turned sideways so she could tap your arm? What was going on? She sit behind you, so she tapped your arm to get your attention? I'm trying to figure what's this image. Okay, while I was seated in front of her, I didn't like it, and not once did I reciprocate. And I had like an arms crossed stance, but didn't know how to ask her to stop, and it doesn't help that we were in public transportation with other people overhearing would have made it extra awkward. Because I've let her do it in the past, how do I tell her to stop now? I mean, if she does it again, I will tell her to stop no matter how awkward it is. But if you have a good script or advice for me on how to ask for it the least awkward way possible and move on from it ASAP, I'd really appreciate it. Stop being a little wuss. Oh my God. All you have to do is say, look, girl, I got me a woman now. You need to keep your hands to yourself. The only person who should be touching on all this is my lady. You can make it like that so it's kind of like, humorous, but it gets the message across and it's fully accurate. You don't want her touching you. Now, by you saying it like that, you brought up the girlfriend, you put up a boundary, you explained to her why, and then, you from head to toe, no touching. Now, that was very clear. If she does it again after that, then you can feel justified in saying, look, I told you that I don't want no woman touching, including you, touching me. The only woman I want touching me right now is my girlfriend, and that's not you. So by you violating my thing, that's basically you're disrespecting me and you disrespecting my relationship. So I'm going to put your ass on a timeout. So you stay over there somewhere, and I'll see you when I see you. That's how you do that. I tell you, these dudes, it's two kinds of dudes that seem like in this. Either there's a complete jerks that just want to just go through life, just putting a smash on women, emotionally and sometimes physically as well, right? The abusive jerky types. Or there's a kind of, pretty decent dudes, but they're so weak that they have no spine, they have no voice, no testosterone. It's like so hard to find a dude that's in the middle that's got confidence, but knows how to be, vulnerable and show love and that kind of stuff and respect. That's what we're looking for. One in the middle. It's hard for a woman to respect a man who doesn't stand up for himself. Because if you can't even stand up for yourself and put boundaries and stuff and check people, then how you going to do it to protect your girl? How you going to do it to protect the family that you hope to have in the future? That would mean it's just not in you. That's a personality trait. Either you have it in you or you don't. If you don't, you need to get it before you start having kids and a wife. You better work on that. I just don't understand it, because I tell you, my daddy was a savage. That's where I got all this savagery from him. My mother would speak up too, but she was much more, what's the word can I say, genteel with hers. She would use big words and stuff, but you would be cussed out, but you really wouldn't know why or how, because the vocabulary was just kind of like, you had to think about it a long time, and then you realize, oh my God, I think she just told me off. Whereas me and my daddy, we just gonna tell you. We just gonna be like, blow your hair back real quick. So yeah, different, but they were both, they not gonna let no shit happen to their kids. And I'm that same way about my kid and other people's kids. Question number 7. This is the young lady in the 22 to 27 age group from Pennsylvania. Summary of issue: my boyfriend doesn't like to shower or brush his teeth. And that's still your man? That means you nasty as he is. We're in our mid-20s and been together for years, and we've been living together for a while too, but things have changed recently. At this point, Deb, he's just letting himself go. He will smell so bad, I'm going to ask him to shower or brush his teeth, and he will get mad at me. It's like he's in goblin mode. Oh, this is new. Until he goes to work, and then he showers and brushes his teeth for them. But when he comes home, he smells awful, and he will say, I already showered today, or I showered yesterday. It's lucky if he brushes his teeth once a day. I feel like I'm his mother, telling him to do basic hygiene things that he gets mad at me for. His toenails get so long that they literally cut me. And you still in this relationship, girl? He like you, and then he gets mad when I ask him to trim them. Oh, and freshly washed towels will smell bad after he dries himself off after a shower. It's like he's not cleaning himself properly. That means he's not using any soap. I've been getting more and more fed up, and I'm very vocal about this. I say it is a basic requirement, like I'm asking for the bare minimum. Should I just end things over something so trivial? I just cannot keep begging for basic hygiene. Absolutely. Do you understand the fungus, ringworm, bacteria, and stuff that's clinging to this man that you call your boyfriend? And then you sleep with him? I don't even have to mean, intimacy. I mean, just laying next to him in the bed. Can you imagine what he's rubbing off of his body into the sheets that you're then going to be laying on? Girl, I would have got rid of him. I'm like, you making joke, that goblin thing was funny. But I would have been telling him, look, your toenails is like a fucking harpy. And you smell like one too. You could hang from trees and shit. Go and do something about yourself. If you can't do something to clean yourself up, please don't expect me to hug, kiss, or sleep next to you, because I'm not going to do it. You stink. You smell like a barnyard animal, and you look like one. And then that would be the end of that. But you not, you saying, you've talked to him about it stuff, but you ain't done nothing. And your talking sounds like it's like some bullshit, all gentle and stuff. You're supposed to read him like he's just a book. They start from his head to his neck. Your dandruff covered, oily ass hair. You look nasty. You got pimples and shit. Dirt behind your ears. You got filth in your ears. You just look a hot mess. Your skin is all messed up. You itch and scratch all the time because you're covered with dirt. You got bacteria and shit jumping off of you. You smell all over, especially you take your underwear down. It smells like a fucking dump in there. Then we go on down, look at them ashy ass knees and elbows, and you wash with a towel, and the towel stinks just like you do. That means you're not scrubbing and you're not using no soap. You just a nasty motherfucker, and nobody want to be bothered with you. Get your shit and your funky body and get the fuck out. Now, that's what he would have got from me. I just would have been looking at him just, because it's like I sit there, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about how mad I am and how disgusting you are. So it's like I'm amping myself up like a battery. You know how it It charges. I'm charging. Rage is just charging, right? And then when it reaches my mouth, bad things come out. And that's what would be happening when I looked at him. I'm like, "You nasty, tawdry, funky motherfucker. Look at you, you disgusting, vulgar, nasty bird. Smell like a fucking goat." And then I was just like, and then it would start coming out my mouth. I just like, I can't stand it. I need men that smell good. Yeah, because your eyebrows, they always talk about the parasites on the human body. Child, don't look under the electron microscope because you will be creeped out for the rest of your life like me. So you don't want to look at, if you know all the stuff that's flying around in your mouth, moving, wiggling. No, it's gross. And he's not brushing teeth. And you kissing him? Girl, please. I would be rinsing my mouth out with bleach after dealing with dude. And then, those same little things, they'd be like in your eyebrows and eyelashes and stuff. And it's perfectly natural. I mean, that's where they live. That's why they tell you women to change your mascara every 3 months and stuff like that. Even if you still have some left, because they in there, just breeding away. And you don't want to put that in your eye because you're going to get an eye infection. So stuff like that. See, it's like, this stuff is gross. And you know the stuff, and then it's just gross. And these are the kind of things that you have going on with your nasty boyfriend. Ugh, girl. Make me itch. Okay, question number 8. Let's go back to this. Says he's gross. Female in the 20 to 34 age group from Washington State. Summary of issue. My now ex cheated on me and I left. I decided I want a full change of scenery, so I moved 4 hours away to my dream home. The only person that knows is my dad who helped me move, but I have to break it to the rest of my family and I don't know how. Well, that was a nice, tiny summary. Now for the extraneous conversation. I'm 31 now. I was my ex-husband for 9 years. He wasn't interested in anything really that I wanted to do. And we were never really happy. I never got the feeling of love. Hold on. From him, and he wasn't very affectionate. So why did you marry him then? This don't sound like exciting at all. You just want to be married? Intimacy was pretty routine when we did have it. And he had a very low libido. Most of our conversations just were about what we needed to do that week and nothing more. I guess I stayed because it was easy and not exactly exciting, but I knew what to expect. My family adores him, but my mom said she could always tell I wasn't happy. I was never able to give him a child, and he wasn't happy about that, but never wanted to look at any type of treatment or find out what was wrong. Anyway, he cheated on me with a woman at his job. I knew that day when he made it home that he cheated. He didn't need to tell me. I could feel it, and he confessed later. Honestly, though, I was initially upset, but the moment I realized I would be free, I was actually relieved. So I packed my stuff and I left. I stayed with my dad for a while and researched places for me to live. I really wanted to completely start over. So I played job roulette in places I wanted to go, and I've gotten a job in a town I really wanted to be in. The hours and pay are better than what I had, and the cost of living isn't quite as expensive. It's about a 4-hour drive to my hometown. I've been talking to a realtor and found a property and closed on Friday. I recently started my new job. I'm staying in a hotel this week until my house is ready for me to move in next week. I'm so excited I can barely hold it together. It's like a dream come true. So you go on a big come up. However, my family is super close and I have to break it to everyone other than my dad. I'm not sure what to say because no one in my family has ever moved away before, and I know they're going to be very upset. No one has asked me anything, and I think they suspect that I have up and moved 4 hours yet, but I was planning to tell them this weekend when I visit to get the rest of my belongings. My dad told me that when he wanted to move away when he was young and got talked out of it, he said he still resented from being forced to stay there and didn't want them to sway me and for me to not do it. So I didn't tell anyone until I had it all lined up. I'm not really sure how to break it to everyone that this is a good thing, this is a good thing type of way. Well, I'm trying to understand why you feel like you need to tell them. Not like you're going to lie, but you get your stuff right and then you go take your stuff back to your new house. Now, what's going to happen is they're going to say, oh, well, why don't you come over? Or they want to come over to your house. And then that's when you tell them, okay, well, make sure that you get dressed because you're going to have a good way to drive because I'm in such and such now. And they'll be like, what? Well, what'd you do that for? Say, because I got a nice job there and I want to be away from not only him, but you too. It's just too much. It's too much stuff going on here that reminds me of the horrors that I just went through, and I want a fresh start. Do you have a problem with that? And they're going to look at you and they're going to be like, knowing they want to say that selfishly that you shouldn't have left them. But when you put it like that, what can they say other than we understand? They're not going to like it, but too bad. It's not about what they like. It's what you like because it's your life. And remember that. You don't need to be defending your position or your thoughts or what you did to anybody. Okay? There's no explanation needed. If they start getting on you about it, say, well, it looks like it's time for me to go back to my nice house and my nice new life 4 hours away from this bullshit. And then you get in your car and you drive away. So you have to train people how to treat you in situations like this. And by you removing yourself from their control and removing yourself from their admonishments and all their complaints about you leaving and stuff, you know, it's like too codependent and you broke the mold. And so it's you made of something. I'm happy your daddy's on your team and that he shared his story with you. So you gives you a little extra courage. Stay strong and remember, this is about you. It's not about them. They made their choices in their life. They stayed where they wanted to be and they're happy where they are. You weren't. And you have every right to make a decision that's in your own best interest and go to places and start a life for yourself that makes you happy. This is your life, nobody else's. Nobody can live it for you. Okay, so stand strong and continue on the path that you are. Sounds like you're about to do some wonderful things. You're probably about to meet somebody on your new job that's got his shit together, and you'd be like, oh shit, I should have moved here years ago. What was I thinking? Let's move on to question number 9. This is a young man in the 22 to 27 age group. He's a Taurus. He's African American from Vallejo, California. Summary of issue. Do girls not like consistent men? I'm a very consistent person. And even though I know they work, I keep ignoring all the dating games. I always be myself and act like myself. And it always seems like it ends up with the other person getting attached with me either getting attached or having people lose interest. The things I'm talking about are the following: : I respond to texts as soon as I can. I agree to hang out whenever I'm available. I send cute, flirty messages. I'm always there for the people that I care about. Do women not like that? I'm kind of confused, to be honest. The one time I talked to a girl and didn't behave like myself, she liked me back. Okay, but dude, if you are just playing a role because the girl has low self-esteem and responds to stupid games, I mean, can you really be with somebody like that? You know, you got to realize there are a lot of damaged young ladies out here. I deal with them every week. They're damaged, they're confused, they have extremely low self-esteem and no confidence. So their idea of a healthy relationship, most of them never even seen one. So they don't know what it's like to have a man who doesn't play games, who's there for them and who's consistent. It's a foreign concept to them. Personally, if you was my age, I would be like, hi, what your name is? Because my husband was a Taurus and this was exactly how he was. I mean, you could set a clock by that man that he was that consistent. But I like that because it provides a feeling of emotional and physical security and safety. You always know what he's going to do, where he's going to be, where he said he's going to be. He's going to do what he said he's going to do. And the stuff that he said he's going to make happen, it happens. And it happens earlier, or at least by the time he said it was. So I never had to worry about anything. I never worried about anything. And it was so peaceful. You know, I still would get mad at him, though, but about other stuff. It wasn't about that. So, you know, what it is, though, is you just haven't found, you know, you're young, you're 22 to 27 age group. You don't say where you fall in there, but it sounds like, you know, no more than 25. You know, the women haven't caught up with your maturity level yet. That's what it is. You're looking at the young ladies in your age group, which, you know, is appropriate, but they're not there quite yet. You know, in a few years, they'll be able to appreciate somebody like you and what kind of stability you would bring to her life and her extended family's life and the lives of any children that the two of you had together, a marriage, the whole thing. She's not there. They're not there yet. You might try dating a woman a couple of years older than you. See if that works for you. If not, then just, you know, date around until you find some, you know, you get a little older and then they'll fall in line and stuff. But don't ever change who you are to try to please somebody else or to run games and stuff. That's being inauthentic and that's trifling. Don't do that. You tried it once, don't ever do that again. Be the person that you are, always, okay? Sound like you a pretty special dude. I don't see the problem, but that's the only thing I can come up with. They're just not emotionally, they're not ready for you yet. Question number 10. This is a young lady in the 22 to 27 age group. She's Asian from Brisbane, California. The young man in question is 28 to 34, and he's Caucasian. Yeah, I don't deal with inconsistent men. Can't do it. Summary of issue. I found out that my husband has been wearing my clothes. Okay. I know this is a serious, and it's bothering her. You know what I mean? Because that would mess me up. But I'm sorry, girlfriend. Just the image of that is just making me laugh. It just sounds so crazy. Okay. I noticed things were different or out of place. It was not until I looked at our baby cam and saw that he was wearing my clothes while I was not at home. I have so many mixed emotions at this moment. My husband and I have been dealing with a lot of things this year, and this has something I did not expect. I did speak to him about what I saw, and at first he denied it completely, but he finally admitted it. I've never seen him cry like that before. I was completely supportive to him, but don't get me wrong, I was mad and very confused. This is something he should have told me. We will be seeing a therapist, but what do I need to prepare myself for regarding our future? The comment that he said that concerned me the most was that he always felt more comfortable with his feminine side and now wonders if he is transgender. What do I do now? He's not transgender. He's what they call it. Okay, like in my era, these were called cross dressers. What they call them? Men like to wear women's clothes, transvestites or something like that. And now they want to like talk about transgender and take hormones and just go crazy. It's not that serious. Now, I'm not saying that you have to deal with it. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying I wouldn't tell him not to be so quick to label himself with the latest fad label and just understand that he just likes to wear women's clothes, you know? Now, if he starts talking about he want to do hormones and get surgery and stuff, then you need to deuce out on this like immediately, because that's going to really take you down a rabbit hole. As far as what you could do in therapy, I mean, what would your goal be there? What you trying to do? He's already told you his truth. The one who would need the therapy is you to deal with it. Okay, this is not a we therapy. This is a you therapy to deal with the weirdness that you married. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's what it is. And you have a decision to make, and the therapist can help you make it. Is this something, the kind of marriage that you want to have with a man that you're married to? Or do you want to just deuce out and find a guy who's normal? Personally, I would do the latter. Because I'm not into, you guys know I'm not into no freak shit. I'm not into weird stuff. I'm not into mental illness, depression, any kind of dependencies, any kind of aulic, nothing. I just don't do any of those kind of things. So for me, this would be an immediate deuce out. If that's what you are. Yeah, well, but still, I mean, that wouldn't be nothing. I couldn't be with no RuPaul type of person, you know? I just, I mean, for him, that's a career, that's his money. But, he's supposed to be taking the shit too far. So it's just a thing. Like I said, you're going to have to work through your emotions, the loss, the feelings of loss that you thought about the marriage that you thought you had, the love that you thought you had, the husband that you thought you had, the father that you thought you would provide your child. I mean, there's a lot of going on here, and you're going to need help navigating these waters. This is not about him. He sounds perfectly accepted of himself and his weirdness, freaky shit that he got going on. It's you that just got broadsided, and all the dreams that you had connected with this man just went up in a puff of smoke. I know you're reeling, and you need some therapy, and I would suggest going at first 3 times a week if you can afford it, while you get over this hump and figure out what you're gonna do. You have a baby. Whew, what a hot mess. I don't even know what to tell you, but start with the therapist, and they can probably help you guide yourself through this. This, I don't even know what to say other than get you some therapy. And think after that, think about, how to handle this. The therapist can help you work it out. There's nothing much I can do about it. Question number 11. This is a young man in the 20 to 34 age group, Caucasian, from Toronto, Canada. Summary of issue. I am always correcting, fact-checking, and invalidating my partner, and I need to stop, but I don't know how. I've been with my partner for a year and a half. We're both 31. Early in the relationship, I would be called out for pulling out my phone to confirm something she said, almost subconsciously. It's something I was doing with friends at work, and even after I've said something I believed. She had called me out on it a couple of times before having to really spell it out for me, that it was making her feel like I didn't trust her, believe her, or think she was smart enough. I stopped doing it. I know she's smart, and I know she's way smarter than I am. I love her, and I don't even necessarily think that she is wrong. But now, over a year down the road, I will miss or catch myself too late in the act of denying her experiences or doubting what she said. Intentionally or not, I'm gaslighting her. I know it doesn't matter what my thought process is, and my intent is hurting her, and she is at or beyond her limit. I'm not asking this to be a jerk. I know it is a jerk move. I am still invalidating her, ignoring her, and correcting her. But what the hell is wrong with you? You don't have no self-control. At 31 years old, you still insist on acting a fool? Even though you know it's hurting your girl, you still gonna do it. Okay, let me finish this. I've lived with untreated ADHD up until about 2 months ago when I started medication. It's something I should have done for myself long before my partner was crying for me to make a change. I've still hurt her along the way and have been implementing ways of being more mindful and getting a better handle on my impulsivity. I've started journaling both physically and on my phone. I've also brought a DBT workbook and looking into therapy. I don't know what that is. I've read a lot of things online by people on the receiving end of this behavior, but I can't seem to find any way of helping myself. I love my partner. I respect her, but acknowledge that what I'm doing is disrespectful regardless of intent. How do I stop doing this? You admit. See, right now you're trying to, pitch around and find a way to stop doing it. What you need to do is figure out why you're doing it. What makes you think you're so fucking number one, more intelligent, smarter, and can outguess everybody? So you have to position yourself as the king of the world of knowledge so that you can tell everybody else that they're wrong and you're right. That's the core of what's going on right now. And once you admit that you're a fucking asshole, and that's why you're really doing this, it has nothing to do with ADHD. It has to do with your ego and your sense that you're superior to everybody. And that's how you're trying to position yourself. So you can say, aha, I was right and you were wrong. That's your true goal here. But see, until you admit it, you pitching around with using all these words and talking about ADHD and pills and, invalidating. You using a lot of words to try to gaslight me. I'm not stupid. I know some bullshit artists when I see one. You a fucking asshole. And that's all it is. You want to feel like you superior to everybody. See, and if you had done some shit like that to me, I would have cussed your bitch ass out. And so then you would be sitting there looking stupid holding your phone. And I say, why don't you look up what bitch ass is? And then when you finish with that, look up monkey ass. Look up monkey ass motherfucker and what the definition of that is. And look, you're going to see your face right next to it. Because that's what you are. So, it's the kind of thing like you just haven't run into the right person yet. Your girlfriend is tolerating your nonsense. You run into somebody like me and watch how quick your ego gets chopped up. Because you own one. Thinking that your shits don't stink and you so fucking superior to everybody. Oh, honey, the cussing. I would have been like, dude, this morning, just out there, just acting a complete fool. But yeah, that's what this is. He think he's slick. Trying to write all this stuff. Oh, it's undiagnosed and I have medication and, it's, and I love her and all this stuff. No, you don't. You love feeling superior to everybody. That's what you really love. That's why you keep doing it. There's nothing in this world that we do without a reason. Every single move we make and everything we think and say has a reason behind it. I know this for a fact. Now, some people are, they're kind of like have little emotional intelligence, and so they don't really tune into that side. But we don't do nothing unless we have a reason for it. And the reason when we do it is because there's a perceived benefit to doing it. Like for me to cuss you out, I would be real happy to do that to see you in tears. See, that would be the perceived benefit. For you to try to check people and try to make them, tell them that they're wrong, your perceived benefit is that you get to feel superior because you had enough sense to use Google on your phone, right? And you told them, you found out that they didn't know what they were talking about. And so that therefore makes you more superior. Okay, wait, I have another side story. Oh my God. I have a relative who's crazy. Speaking of people who want to feel superior, this is her thing. She just loves to feel like she just knows everything and nobody else knows as much as she does. And she's the smartest thing. And she got to constantly try to tell people stuff and constantly help people. That's her thing. Now, I have this thing on my job. Anybody who's got a position above me, I'm not helping them to do nothing. I'm not giving you no suggestions. I'm not going to help you proofread nothing. I'm not going to pick up nothing for you. I'm not doing shit. You know why? Because you make twice as much as me. So you handle that. Okay. That's my rule. I've been my rule since I was 15 years old to start working. Okay. So she has this boss that she can't stand. That the woman came in. She don't know nothing. Everybody hates her. So the woman had beef with one of the employees. So she wanted to fire the employee. The woman was a temporary employee anyway. So it wasn't like she really worked there, but it was a sister. And the sister was like one of them hard sisters from like Richmond and stuff. So this white lady gonna go and, be talking to the woman all disrespectful, and the sister wasn't having it. Okay. So she, yeah. And so then she took a picture of the white chick. So my cousin is gonna go and tell these white people on this job, oh, she took a picture of you. And the reason she did it is because she's going to either do it herself or hire somebody to hurt you. That's what she tells these white people. And she don't know this black woman. She don't know why the woman took the picture, not really. And she don't know nothing about nothing as a fact. But she on this job mouthing off and telling these white folks this is what this black woman was doing, and that's why she took the picture. I wanted to crawl under the table when she was telling me this. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, why did you do that? Well, I just thought that they should know. And she had this, I said, okay, so what you did was basically accuse this woman of criminal activity with no proof. You have basically set her up and labeled her on your job so that you could feel superior in that moment. Like all the white people need to come to you because you just know every damn thing. And you have maligned this woman, and what you have done, if she finds out that you said that and she has a lawyer friend or can get one, she can sue you for libel and slander because you've just slandered her. You have no proof about any of the stuff that you just said. And she gonna tell the white chick, you should get security to walk you to your car. And this is a true story. I'm telling you, my life is filled with crazy people. And you get security to walk you to your car because she gonna do something to you. She's saying this to this woman on this job, right? I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah, ain't that some mess, Diana? And so I'm sitting there like looking at her in disbelief. I'm like, I can't possibly be hearing what I'm hearing. And so I'm like, okay, you should have never done that. I don't know what you're trying to do here. But that was the absolute wrong move to make. First of all, if the woman did some stuff and she mistreated the woman and the woman accused her of treating her, a racial incident and then when she called her up on it, then that's when the woman wanted to fire her. Did you find out what the racial incident was? What the white chick do to her? Well, I don't know. I said, but suddenly because she took a picture of her, now she's the bad guy? And so she's looking all sheepish, right? I'm like, I don't know what you're thinking. If anything, you remain neutral. You try to find out some stuff, but you don't start lobbing accusations and blaming people and telling people that they're going to get jumped and stuff. Do you know what you've done now? That girl can never come as a temp to this business ever again because of your accusation and a fear that you've instilled in all of these people over nothing. So that she's looking, like this, looking at the decency to look embarrassed. And I'm just explaining this to her, how she need to learn how to fucking keep her mouth closed. I told her this a dozen times. Stop talking so much. You trying to be all fucking helpful to people that didn't ask you for no help. You don't need them. The white folks don't need you to come in there saving them. Sit your ass down somewhere and shut the fuck up sometimes. Stop talking so much. Especially you're going to be throwing people under the bus about you. Well, I know because this and that. You don't know shit. You're using your imagination. You don't have no facts. Well, when I was growing up, you know how long ago that was? How many decades ago was that? And you think the girl's stupid enough to go follow the woman to the parking lot? I said, if she was going to be a real thug like me, she would wait a year or two. And I would follow her. And I'll find out where she lived, where her husband lived, where her mother lives, where all her relatives are, where she does for hobbies, where she go to the gym, where she go to the hairdresser. If I really wanted to get her, that's what I would do. And I'm not even, like a thug type. But I know that I'm not going to do nothing, not right now, not when the heat's on. I'm going to wait. It might be 2, 3, 5 years, but I'm going to get your ass one way or another. I'm going to get you. Because whatever you did or you thought you were slick and trying to get over on me, I'm going to get you back because that's how I am. I'm deeply vindictive. But I wouldn't be stupid enough to do it right now where you're going to be following me to the parking lot, stupid stuff like that. I'm telling you, that's a true story. So anyway, back to my column. I just had to share that. It was like, this can't be happening. It's like all this crazy stuff happened this week. She don't see herself as a liability. She thinks that she's helping people. Well, I just told her so she could be on the lookout. She on the lookout from your imagination. That's what's really going on right here. My God. All right, so here goes this dude. This is only letter number 12. Young man, 22 to 27 from Portsmouth in the UK. Portsmouth? I don't know. Yes, it just happened, Mo. Last week. I heard about it it happened maybe, I think, earlier in the week. But I heard about it last weekend. Okay. Some of you confused about best friend's actions and not sure what to think. In late 2022, I met a wonderful woman at my job. She's 22, I'm 25. She gave me her number. We went on a date. It was awesome. And granted, I failed to take an action when I felt the look. When it's time to go home and we look at each other. Yeah, I didn't go in for a kiss. My bad. We kept going a few dates and nothing ever came of it, mostly because of my inaction. But one day I asked her if she wanted to hook up, and she said at the moment she was not interested. All right, I moved on and continued on with the friendship where she is an awesome person, no strings attached. We exchange birthday gifts. We talk all the time. She's the center of my water cooler conversation breaks at the office. We can get comfortable in each other's presence. She's cool enough that we can stay silent near each other in complete silence. This woman has been a part of my life in such a way that together we did many things. We went to the opera, we went to the theater, we went hiking and all that. We shared all those moments. And if not for her, I wouldn't have done any of those things. So we're planning on going camping, and I asked her if she wanted to get separate tents. She said one for the two of us was enough. Oh, she did she? Get girl. I did not care much about it since I was like, she already told me she didn't want anything in a romantic sense. But one of my other female friends brought to my attention that for a female to feel safe around a man alone in the woods in a single tent is either a great sign of trust or there may be hints of something going on in the romantic sense. I noticed that I may be liking her more and getting in a more romantic sense even after letting go in the past just by sheer exposure. I mean, we are doing everything couples are supposed to do. I just don't know how to feel about it. How should I broach the topic? Should I question her or just let things flow? Any advice is welcome. I'm just not sure what the question is, really. I just need a few words from you and the ladies to make sure I don't screw up or act like a weirdo. You're not going to say shit, right? Because okay, let me tell you how to do this like a player. You don't know nothing, right? Because you really don't. Because the last thing that she clearly said to you, after you just so boldly said you want to hook up like an idiot, you don't never talk to women like that, you dull troll. That's gross and disgusting. So of course she's gonna say no, because that's just nasty. Any woman who says yes to do you want to hook up is a hooker, okay? And you girls listen to that. You don't let the man talk to you like that. If he doesn't approach you with romance and finesse and some kind of sensual skill, then you turn him down, and that's what she did. And so then over the course of her turning you down, you actually dated her, which is what she wanted. Do you understand how this works, you idiot? You spent time with her. All these things, these events, these things that you tried, all these exciting experiences that you had with her, those were dates. Now, you may not have recognized it, but that's what it was, you fool. Okay, so this time you spent dating her, she got to know you versus you just jumping from one date to a hookup. I don't know how you young people do stuff. It's just so ass backwards. And then you get in a relationship and then it's all fucked up. And you, if you had to spend the time doing all the dating in the front end, you know, platonic, spending time together, laughing, joking, going places, having experiences that are enjoyable, then you would know if you were compatible or not. So now, by her saying that she want to go camping with you and stay at one tent, I wouldn't want to stay at, even if we wasn't doing nothing. Like it was one of my male friends, I would want to be in the same tent too. Because if a bear comes, I want to be able to run fast so he can have a snack on you while I'm getting away. I don't want to be in a separate tent so I'm the snack and then you the dessert. No, 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 no. I need time to get away. So yes, one tent is fine. It can be a big tent. Don't have to be like one of them little pump tents where you all on top of each other. I mean, that's the only kind of tent you have. But you know, they had a big tents where it's like separate rooms and stuff. So I mean, it just depends on how you're gonna set things up. But it should be big enough that there's space enough for like 4 people in the tent, 3 people or something. So you guys have room for all your gear, and then she can be there, and you can be there. Okay. So you're not gonna say anything. You're just gonna let this play out. You're gonna act like you don't know anything. You don't have any expectations because you really shouldn't. Because you know you're gonna be camping. Usually people camp a weekend, so that would be 2 nights. So nothing may happen on the first night. She may still be feeling you out. Seeing if you know, gonna be trying to be all jiggy or, you know, jump the gun or be gross and disgusting or try to touch her inappropriately, say something inappropriate. You're gonna be 150% all gentlemen like you learned on this channel. You're not gonna do nothing unless she initiates. Now, why do you want to do it that way? Because what you want to have is what I call enthusiastic consent. Not just you begging, whining, and a woman giving in. That might be consent, but that's really coercion. And especially if she out in the middle of the woods and stuff, she's scared, you know, that you might leave her or something. That would be a coercive movement, and that's akin to an essay. Okay? Someone giving in under duress like that, that's not cool. What you as a young man should be looking for is for her to be jumping your bones. That is when she comes up and kisses you, where she grabs you and pulls you in for a hug, where she comes over and she sits in your lap and starts smooching on you. That's the kind of stuff that you want. That's how you know she's into you, and that's what's called enthusiastic consent. That way you know it's go. It's green lights all the way, okay? Anything else in a situation like this where she already turned you down, there's a big question mark, and I suggest that you not do anything and follow the script I just gave you. Okay, that way you can avoid any kind of drama. It won't be no confusion. You both will be on the same page because you'll be looking for her to open the book and start reading. And there you go. Okay. Yeah, I wrote a whole article about that where I think it's on Surviving Dating, about enthusiastic consent in connection with some instance that happened at Hofstra University some years ago, where these dudes locked a girl in the bathroom and they tried to say that she gave consent, and it was one way in and one way out. And they blocking the door. And that was consent, they said. So I had to correct that misconception. And it was a whole article. I used to do a lot of like investigation type writing where, stuff was in the news or whatever, and I would investigate it. And I would write about it. Like I did that with that, what's the name? Umar Johnson. I did a whole piece about him too. I think it's on Surviving Dating as well. And his nonsense about that boys' school. So I used to do that stuff, but I'm old now. I don't feel like it. Now I just do this. Question number 13. This is the young man in the 22 to 27 age group from Louisville, Kentucky. Summary of issue. What would be better for me to do in this situation? I noticed a girl and I liked her. Then I started communicating. The communication was very fluent at first. I invited her to meet. She accepted. We spent some time. During the meeting, she wanted to know if I had a girlfriend before, and I think she was interested in the beginning, but I must have done some dumbness during the meeting, and I noticed that her interest was gradually decreasing. After this meeting, communication slowed down, but there were some flirtations or acts of interest here and there. And I came out to this girl and told her that we couldn't be friends because I liked her, but she said she didn't feel the same and wanted to just stay friends with me. I responded positively to her ideas and feelings, and it turned out well. I limited our communication to forget, and we didn't see each other for a year. Nothing happened except that we followed each other on the gram. But a year later, we were in a common area again. This time I was showing avoidance behavior because I still like her, but she smiled and greeted me. How should I behave after this process? I'm afraid to get closer again because I really like her. Actions that will have no consequences only cause me pain. What should I do? You would continue ignoring her. Just because she smiled and said hi, you want to make it a big deal and write an advice column? You tripping. She's just showing us no. She did say that she just wanted to be friends, right? So that means she don't have no hard feelings, no animosity towards you. But it's like not like you did anything wrong to her. So there's no reason for her not to talk to you and wave and say hi and stuff. You tripping, dude. Don't put too much on it. This is why women have such a hard time with men and don't want to ever show y'all no friendliness or conversation or even fucking smile at you because y'all just read too much into it. Slow down. She's not into you. She ain't going to try to get nothing going with you. She was merely being polite and human. Okay? That's all it was. You're going to behave, you're going to go back to doing exactly the same thing you was doing, which is nothing. Question number 14. This is a male in the 22 to 27 age group. He's African-American, a Leo from Pensacola, Florida. The female in question is a 22 to 27-year-old Scorpio, also African-American. Summary of issue. My ex locked me out of my bedroom, so I broke up with her. And now everyone says I overreacted. Can you help me? So Deb, is me and my ex dated about 1.5 years, and things were pretty easy going up until now, but I really need a little bit of help to see if I'm being unreasonable. My ex is 23 and I'm 25, and we got into a mild argument, basically surrounding Halloween plans. She wanted to go out and I don't. I told her that she's more than welcome to go out with her friends, but going out with that many people would only stress me out. I have agoraphobia, so I'll be watching horror movies on the couch that night. She got pissed at me for not letting her have, quote, input into what I do for Halloween, which I would understand if we were spending it together, but we don't have to anyway, so what's the big deal? After that, she kept trying to get me to agree to go out, but I refused because I would be entirely miserable the whole time. Finally, she screamed at me that I'm on the couch tonight and slammed my bedroom door behind her and wouldn't let me into my own bedroom all night long. My girlfriend does not live here. She spends the night here and there, but she has her own place. I would consider doing what she did not, just out of the question, but deeply disrespectful and toxic. So in the morning, I sat her down and explained that while the Halloween issue was blown out of hand, I was going to be ending the relationship because I did not feel respected anymore. She was nearly hysterical, asking if I was serious. At that, it wasn't a big deal and all kinds of other stuff I expected. What I didn't expect was my other friends agreeing with her and saying that a girl dumped you on the couch is just part of having a girlfriend, so I'm overreacting. My family's on my side. My dad even laughed when I told him the story, but basically other than my dad, my brothers, and my stepmother, everybody thinks it was too much. So I guess I'm just asking for help, recognize if I did anything wrong, Auntie. Hell no, Mr. Leo. I'm on your team, and let me tell you why. Okay, it would be the exact same thing if we were reversed or we were what I just talked about, coercion. That what she's doing is putting pressure on you and trying to guilt trip you into doing what she wanted you to do. It's exactly what I just talked about in the question before, but it's not related to intimacy. It's exactly the same behavior where someone putting pressure on you and trying to guilt trip, manipulate, and force you, which is coercion, into doing whatever it is that they want you to do, even though you said no, and even though you said that it makes you uncomfortable, and even though you said you don't want to do it. It's the exact same thing. So I'm going to give you the exact same answer I would if the situation was first reversed and a guy was pressuring a girl to do something, physical that she didn't want to do. You said no. You gave her reasons why. You said no multiple times, right? She knows you have agoraphobia and don't like crowds. You said you wasn't going anywhere. You was going to be at home, so there's no reason for her to feel jealous or worry about where you are, what she was doing. You're going to be at home watching horror movies, okay? And one thing as Leos, generally, like if we're in a relationship and we really like you, we're not going nowhere. If we say we're going to be at home, that's where we're going to be. Why? Because we don't really like a whole bunch of other people anyway. And so why would we stress ourselves out by being around a bunch of people we don't really feel like being around? We're going to be at home. And dude, I'm with you. I'm right there with you because I do the same thing on Halloween. Okay, so. But that ain't good enough for Miss Thing. And she going to slam the door and lock you out of your own bedroom. Now, there's a way to get into your room. I'm going to tell you this. Okay, the doorknobs have like this little hole in the middle, right? You get like what I have is like a metal, what is that thing? A shish kebab thing. It's the perfect size for it. It pokes in that hole and you press it in there and it pops the lock until you go in the room. You didn't know that though, but I just gave you some info. So nobody can ever lock you out your room again. So that's a safety thing for little kids that sometimes lock themselves in rooms that used to not be that way, but now doorknobs usually have that. So you do that, and then you get in there and you tell her to get her things and go home. Now, as far as everybody saying that's the deal, that might be the deal when you're husband and wife and you have live in the same house. But A, she don't live there, and B, you ain't married. So C, all the stuff that your friend talk about, that's just part of the parcel of the program and all this old stuff here, that doesn't apply in a boyfriend-girlfriend situation. She can take her ass home, right? If she don't want to be around you, she go home. She don't banish you to the couch. I used to send my husband to his mother's house, but he still had a bedroom over there. So it was a guest. She turned it into a guest room, but basically it was, it used to be his room. So he just go sleep. He'd be quite comfortable there, TV, everything. He was used to it. Everything was laid out. Kitchen nearby. His mom making snacks and shit. They have a little visit. I was like, don't look at it as a bad thing. Go in there and spend some time with your raggedy ass mother. But it's like, you told her no, and everything that, would warrant her leaving it alone and stopping harassing you and then locking you out like that. You were disrespected. It was inappropriate, and you did the right thing. So I don't have any problem with what you did. And you find you a woman and tell her the story, the next girlfriend you have, and let her know right away, I ain't that man, I ain't that dude where I'm going to be letting you just run all the fuck over me. It's not going to happen. Let's see what a giggle say. I must have missed it. Let's see. Oh, with credit cards, yeah, that works too. I know how to do that too. But this is easy if you had a kind of had a little hole in the middle, which most do these days. So yeah, she would have been shocked because I would have popped that lock and been in there and dragging her ass and flinging her out of my house. So yeah, I'm with you. You got my vote. Question number 15. This is a young man of 20 to 34 age group from Portland. So issue, my ex is asking me to pay back money that she gave me for my birthday 2 years ago. Do I need to give her back that money? My ex, let's call her R, is asking me back for some money she gave me on my birthday 2 years ago. She couldn't get a present in time and just gave me $1,500 to buy myself something. So I used it to buy some old gold coins that I keep in my safe deposit box since I knew it will appreciate in the near future. She knew about it and then asked me what I did with the cash is up to me. But we broke up about a year back. I more or less know there was some infidelity going on, which she denies, but she immediately started dating this dude, which I knew she was hanging out with a lot. I don't care anymore the reason. R is not my problem, and I'm glad. Unfortunately, we still have come across one another because neither one of us want to give up the coffee shop that we frequent, so we just ignore each other if we happen to be there at the same time. She did try to initiate some talk, but I've shut her down. Last morning I was there. My stepsister joined me and we were having our breakfast, and R approached me saying that she needed to speak to me. R is planning to move in with her boyfriend and wants the money she, quote, loaned me because they are a bit short on the deposit. I asked her what loan she's talking about, and she said the $1,500, she wants it back now. I reminded her that she gave me that as a birthday present, and she kept saying that it was a loan. So I scrolled to one of my Instagram stories I saved where I made a joke about the money she gave me. I'm now going to be rich. R was there too in the post, so she can't deny that it wasn't a gift. But she was agitated and told me that I just give her the money back. And I basically told her to F off because there wasn't a written letter saying this was a loan, nor have I asked her to borrow any lump of sum of money. At the most, I would ask about $100, which I always paid back when I got my pay. She told me that she would send her boyfriend to hurt me. Oh. And I told her that if she tried to hurt me, I would go to the cops. Stepsister joined in and told her to F off too. R decided to just explode, saying that how much her new boyfriend is better than me and the usual BS of how he's bigger and blah, blah, blah. Oh, really? But he too broke to come up with the money for the deposit, and she want to move in and she got to go harass her ex for the money to move in with another man? Okay. My stepsister just silenced her with a, yet he is so, okay, the stepsister and me is twins, yet he's so broke that he's making his girlfriend go ask the other men for money. I laughed, and R tried to take her cold brew coffee to splash it on Step, but I pushed her cup down before she could do it, causing it to spill on R's skirt instead. She screeched at us and just stormed off, and since then she's been blasting me on her social media, saying I'm a thief and all kinds of BS. I know paying her would shut her up, but a gift is a gift. But I want to ask you, should I pay her back? Hell no. I have the evidence, even an old text of her saying sorry she couldn't give me a gift and she would give me some money as well. What do you advise? I advise that you send her a text and tell her if she continues to slander you publicly that you will file a lawsuit against her to cease and desist, and that you will be seeking damages to your reputation in the form of cash payments, and the number will start at $25,000 and go up. That's what I would do, because she needs to be taught a lesson. You can't do that kind of stuff. You tell her, you demand that she removes those posts immediately and that she keep your name out of her mouth and off of her social media, or she's going to have legal consequences. And since you got your $1,500 of gold coins that have appreciated in value, you have the money for an attorney, because you'll get that money right back. Just have the attorney hold on to them or something until you get your money. Not spend them, give them back to you. You can work a deal. It'll be all right. You make it happen. That's what I would do. That's what I would do, and make that post public so she and everybody else can get notice of her lie. Question number 16. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Durham, North Carolina. Her issue: my ex's best friend hit on me. We broke up a year ago, and the best friend knows we're thinking about getting back together, and it's complicated. The best friend, all of us are 24, is mutual friends with both of us. He asked me on a date, but at the time I didn't know it was a date until he told me he saw it as a date during the dinner, and he asked if I wanted to start something casual. Should I tell my ex about this? If so, how do I tell my ex? I really hate to ruin their friendship, and I don't want to start drama. Is it fair for me to tell my ex not to tell the best friend I told him? Should I distance myself from the best friend? We've been friends for a while, so this was so out of the blue because I never thought he had these feelings for me. I'm still processing and not sure how to feel about what he said. He ain't have no feelings for you. You just want to tap it. You stupid. Your boyfriend, ex-boyfriend rather, probably was talking about how good you do different things. And now, he called himself bragging, right? And now dude want to experience it for himself. You up there mistakenly thinking that this is something that he's into you or some shit. I don't know what you young girls be thinking. He don't know. He don't want you. He is not into you at all. Not like that. Not like you're trying to imagine. And then you think you think your ex gives a shit? They probably set this up. I mean, that's what I would think. It was a test to see what you was going to do. But what you're not going to do is tell your ex, because he don't give a shit. You ain't with him, so it's nothing to tell. This will be the same as any other dude trying to ask you out. Okay? You don't go run and tell your ex about them, so what you going to tell them about this dude for? All right? And no matter what you're talking about getting back together, you're not going to do that. You're going to move on. And you're going to stop trying to be friends with your man's friends, ex-man's friends. He's not mutual friends with you. That's his buddy. You just horned in on the thing because you was dating him at the time. Step the fuck back and stay in your envelope. You don't need to be friends with your man's ex, your ex's friends, male friends. That's not for you. You're tripping. And any of you young women hearing this stuff, them dudes are not your friends. Those are your dudes' friends, your ex-dudes' friends. They trying to get at you for some free pussy. That's all that is. He want to see if you stupid and desperate enough. Are you overdue? What's really going on? Okay, is it available for him to tap it? That's all he's after. The experience, so they can sit there and compare notes. Yeah, did she do that to you? Well, yeah, she did it to me too. Well, did she say this? Yeah, dude. And then she was like, she starts screaming and shit. What? She never did that with me. That's what's going to resort to. And you so dumb, you don't know that? I'm telling you, these girls just have no game at all. Just none. It's just scary. It's scary that these girls are out here calling themselves dating and they have no basic understanding of the shit that goes on in the singles world and how to protect themselves. They really just stay home. Stay home. Don't watch TV. Don't go nowhere with a man until you get smarter. This is sad. Question number 17. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Colorado Springs, Colorado. That's polite, Sliver, calling her silly. I just say you just dumb as a rock. The young man is 22 to 27. Summer issue. My fiance wants to have children someday, but I strongly don't. We're both 24 and have been together for nearly 10 years. Damn. We're happy high school sweethearts and have been able to talk and overcome nearly all of our problems. and move on to be better partners for each other. He's truly the only man I can see myself with a future with. He's absolutely said he shares the same thought, but there's a problem. We talked a few years ago about wanting children. I expressed that I have borderline personality disorder and a strong dislike at the thought of having children. People with BPD typically can get aggressive and have bad mood swings and overthink everything, and also act irresponsibly because of it. And knowing I'm capable of acting in such a way, I would never want to bring a child to be raised near me. Plus, I never really had any interest anyways. I want to be able to be focused on my own goals and my career and making money. He said that was fine as long as he had me. He didn't want anyone else. And eventually, he even started saying he didn't want children after all, which did put me at a bit of ease, and we stopped talking about it. But we've since discussed where we buy a house, what kind of car we want, what pets, etc. Not a single talk about kids in our future. But recently, he let us slip that he's having baby fever after his sister recently had a baby, and we're absolutely in love with with the nephew. I decided to ask him again if he wanted children. He shyly said yes, but he doesn't want to lose me. I still never want any, but I feel like I'm hurting my partner. I want him to have everything he wants, but it seems I can't give it to him. I definitely don't want to break up, and he doesn't either, but I'm unsure what to do to resolve this. Should I think about it more and try to be happy with the thought of giving him a child? Or would it be better to go our separate ways, even though we'd both be so hurt? Well, you have a decision to make. You know, he's done switched over because now he want to be a daddy because he got a nephew. What you need to do is sit down with him and say, you know, looking at a baby is cute. Are you ready for all that responsibility and expense? I mean, because it's going to get real over there at your sister's house. She's probably going to be asking us to babysit him for some money because she's not going to have none. So you need to remind him of that. And, you know, and tell him just flatly, like, you know, as much as I would hate to, you know, if that's really what you want, I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm stopping you from having it. I don't want us to be in a position where you're resenting me because you had a dream of being somebody's daddy and it wasn't realized with a woman who never wanted to be nobody's mama. So we would have to break up. There would be no other way about it. It wouldn't be, you know, acrimonious or anything. It would just be a mutual agreement that our goals have and our paths in life have, you know, gone into different directions now. But in any case, it's been a wonderful almost 10 years with you. I'll always have fond memories. It'll be great. And it's not like we can't see each other. I mean, I'll come to your wedding and I might even, you know, I'll come to your baby shower or whatever. But, you know, we just can't be together. Not like that. I have to be with somebody who doesn't want children and you need to be with somebody who does. And just put it to them like that. It's just real cut and dry. You can't be like partly pregnant and somebody who doesn't want kids. I mean, even the people who want kids are stressed out and overwhelmed. So you can't go into this feeling like you just doing it just for him because you're going to feel burdened and he's going to be like sad because, you know, feels like he forced you to do something that you didn't really want to do. And you might be one of the kind of women that, you know, you had a baby and stuff and he'd be like, fuck this shit. And you give him that baby and pack your shit and deuce out. That happens a lot with women just like, this ain't for me after all. And they leave them kids with their daddy or their mother or something, but they can't do it. And they, you know, but it's unfortunate they didn't realize that before they had the baby. But you already know that's not what you want. So be true to yourself. Don't set up a kid to be in a life with a mother that didn't want it. Don't do that to the kid. Don't do that. Every kid deserves to be thoroughly desired and loved, taken care of and stuff, emotionally, financially, and, you know, mentally, spiritually, all of those ways. And you don't want to do that. So don't burden a kid with that. Question number 18. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Memphis. The male is 18 to 21. Oh, she with a younger dude. Summer issue. I got touched on the leg by a friend inappropriately, but he keeps defending himself. I need help. 2 months ago, a guy friend of mine invited me to go watch a movie with him. He's 21 and I am 23. After a bit of persuasion on his part, I went with him, but he touched my thighs in the theater, but I pushed his hand away. Okay. Little jerk here. It made me feel uncomfortable, and I cried to sleep that night thinking why he touched me like that. I should have stopped talking to him then and there, but I was in a lonely place, and he gave me a lot of attention at that time. I desperately needed a friend and someone to talk to, and he gave me that. I was also going through a post-breakup scene. Okay, you had a whole bunch of excuses why you stayed in a situation where you let a man abuse you like that. Do you think I'm stupid? Do you really think I'm going to go for these bullshit ass excuses that you just put on this paper. The only person you fooling is yourself. You just was desperate and you was willing to sacrifice yourself for some fucking attention. That's what you've written. That's the gist of what you've written here. Now, a few days back, my friend told me he touched her inappropriate and kept touching her after she said no. Then we came to know that he has texted almost every girl in our friend group, but 2 of us were the only ones who fell for his persuasion. We wrote a peer post, exposing the guy. Now he's defending himself, saying that if he did something really bad that day, why did I keep talking to him? What should I say to that? Nothing, because it's true. You send a fucking mixed message and you crying yourself to sleep and writing to me to complain about it, but you didn't do shit when it was, the time to do it and to tell him you didn't do anything. You just flung his hand off of you and going home and cried and shit. And now you write me a letter thinking I'm going to do something about it. Everyone is blaming me for what I did, that I showed interest in talking to him and all, but I never gave him signs that made him think I wanted him. Please help me navigate this situation. What sign did you tell him that you didn't? He asked you to go to the movies. That's a date, and you went. Doesn't that show interest? If you weren't interested, then why did you go on the date? And then he, touched your leg inappropriate. Yeah, you flung his arm off, but did you get up and leave? Did you cuss him out? Did you tell him, don't you ever put your fucking hands on me again? Did you do anything like that? Nope. You went home and cried, and then you wrote me, and then you made some passive-aggressive ass posts on the internet about it. See, I'm not feeling you at all. You gave the man a mixed message, so I mean, he's right. If you were really bothered by it, why did you stay? Why did you keep talking about him? And why did you make all these excuses about why you did all that? Oh, well, I was lonely and I was in a bad place and I had a post-breakup and stuff like that. You were trying to justify why you were staying in the situation. That's why I called you ass out on it, because I know you're full of shit. So what I want you to do is I want you to go and find you a therapist. And I want you to sit down with said therapist. I want you to figure out what the hell is going on with you. Why you think that what you accepted and what you showed, no, you never said no to this man. You never told him stop. And then you kept involving yourself with him, which sends a message like it's okay. Why did you do that if you really were not okay with it? You need to figure that out with the help of a trained professional in mental health. Because I can't, that's beyond the scope of what we do on this counseling, well, on this channel. It's been beyond the scope. But one thing I'm not going to do is accept bullshit ass excuses. Okay. That might work with somebody else who's going to be pitying you and all this kind of stuff. But we don't do snowflakes here. Okay. You do some bullshit, I'm going to tell you about yourself. And this was some bullshit. When a man does anything inappropriate to you, you're supposed to check him immediately. And you was at the movie theater, so all you had to do is get up and get you an Uber and go home. Right? Tell him you're going to the bathroom and then dip out. If you were scared to tell him directly. So I need to go to the restroom. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. And get you an Uber or a cab or call a friend. I don't care what you do. Hitchhike or whatever. But just get the fuck out of there and go home. He'll figure it out. But you didn't do that. Question number 20. This is a female in the 35 to 41 age group. She's African American and Aquarius from Baltimore. And it says others, 22 to 27, they're Black. Others. Okay, let's. Summary of issue. This is a workplace office advice. I'm being alienated in the office. For example, there was no tape in the office area. We use a specific tape for packing in the office with the company's logo on it. So I asked both of my coworkers, hey, do you have any of your check to see if we ran out of the tape? Both said no. So I let them know I was going to the basement to check if there was more stored there. I came back and said to conserve tape, let's use the clear tape first and then the special tape. I said, oh, I already know. We are out of tape. Me and the supervisor talked about it yesterday. Okay. I came to work. I am pleasant and friendly, mind my own business, and do the work to the best of my ability. I do not share much about myself because I don't trust these people. So I'm guarded when I do have conversations with them, and I also think they're intimidated by me. I'm 5'9". They're short. I'm soft-spoken. They are loud. They curse like sailors. These are females in their mid-20s, freshly graduated from college with no work experience, only book knowledge. Okay. I don't curse. I have a degree, but I graduated over 10 years ago, and this job is a career change for me. I have been told, quote, you're hard to read, end quote, whatever that means. Also, I have a strong, as they say, resting bitch face. Lately, I have been making goofy faces when I talk to them, which has helped. I guess as goofy faces are liked better than the resting bitch face. So these are my questions. Well, number one, how would I carry myself that I'm less intimidating? Number two, how would I join or start conversations that are light and not personal without sounding fake? Number three, how do you check someone when they are using a condescending tone of voice when speaking to you in a professional manner? And number four, how does one learn to talk shit? Okay, you asking way too much for this little column. I'm going to pick one of these. Let's talk about this one. How do I join or start conversations that are light and not personal without sounding fake? Who cares if you sound fake? I've advised on this channel many times that if you're in a job in a position of your employment where people don't really know you, you're free to create stuff out of your imagination. Take it what you read online. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you know what? These people don't matter. They don't matter in your real life. So whatever you tell them, it doesn't have to be anything. I always suggest that people talk about pets, right? People love to talk about their animals, their pets. They like little baby nieces and nephews or something, show pictures. You can show a picture of a baby. Don't have to be no baby that's in your family. There's plenty of pictures of babies online. Just pick one. Put it on your phone and say, oh, look, my cousin just had this baby and he's cute. And be like, oh, what's his name? Make up a fucking name. Oh, this little Rollo. Look at little chubby fat leg. So cute. Stuff like that. Just bullshit. It's just bullshit. You don't have to tell them anything that's real and serious. You're taking this way too seriously. When you join the conversation, they can already be talking about some bullshit, right? So you just join in the bullshit with them. Now, if they're talking about personal stuff, then you, like I said, you're free to just get creative. Something that you read online, some story that you saw somewhere. I mean, you don't have to be your story. You can say, yeah, girl, because I heard such and such a, or I saw this thing online. I was reading this story where this woman said blah, 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 blah happened. And they're going to be like, what, really? And you be like, yeah, can you imagine? And they're going to be like, what would you do if that was you? I'm like, I don't even know, girl. That just was too much. And so, you done had this whole conversation with them and haven't said nothing about yourself. Don't you know how to bullshit people? Child, I don't get the tape thing either. That was confusing. I don't know. I think she worded it wrong, but it sounded like what she meant to say was they knew that they were out of tape and sent her on to the run in the basement, even though they knew. That's what I think she was trying to say, but I'm not really sure. The way she wrote it, worded it was confusing. Oh, Onyx is she on the night shift and she watching? Yeah, so I'm saying it's a job. I don't know why she's so invested in these people. Please. I would be embarrassed to tell you all some of the fantabulous lies I done made up. It didn't have people, and it's a good test because you sit there and, with the advice column, I have a ready, like, never ending stream of stuff to talk about that just not me, okay? Situations, all kind of stuff. And stuff that we read and stuff, the articles you guys send me, all this stuff, right? All this information that you can pull from to have conversations with people who are these little gossipy times like this. It don't have to be anything real. The other day, I really did have a really interesting conversation. I was talking about some strategy I had developed, and the woman was asking me how I, did it. She said that was beautiful. It was like a chess game, how you work the people around to get, the end result that I wanted. And I told her that I applied the techniques from the book, The Art of War. And she's like, what is that? So I explained it to her. She said, you read that? I said, numerous times. That is a golden book that I think every woman should read. Because men is reading it and they sure is going to use them techniques on your ass. You better know what's happening. So I told her that. It's wonderful for, in situations, especially with employers or men. So she was just amazed. She just couldn't believe it. I guess in her mind, Black people don't read. That's always the implication when they start talking like that. And I'd be like, yeah, I don't know what to say. You don't want to just accuse people of that, but it sure was the implication of her attitude. But I'm like, yeah. So, the other questions, we can't do all that because that's just too much. That's too long. That would be like a whole show. Question number 21. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Richmond, Virginia. Summary of issue. Should I give a busy guy a chance or move on? We're at the 3 to 4 month mark. I'm 25 and I've been seeing this guy for like 4 months. He is also 25. This is the first time I've had this much mutual attraction. He's very transparent, deeply kind, and so smart. Opens all the doors and says kind things. He's just very easy despite some differences I felt good about. Recently, he's gotten so busy though. Last semester of grad school, he's been teaching kids in a big school project that will be done in December. I accept that he has less free time with all the work and commuting he has to do, and he slowed down a lot on initiating conversations via text. I haven't seen him in 2 weeks. I used to have a partner that constantly hounded me, so I completely understand what it feels like to need space to get your head above water, and he has told me that numerous things are taking up his time. But I'm starting to feel less like a priority, and it makes me feel sad. He has ADHD, so I'm unsure how he problem solves sometimes, and in my own problem, it can be a little all over the place. I'm very disciplined and a kind of a type A. We balance each other in a lot of those things. What I lack, he kind of lifts up. This is also the youngest guy I've ever dated, and it shows a little sometimes. I know it would be best to talk it over first, but I'm unsure whether to take my eggs out of this basket and date someone who has time for me or not. I generally like him, but I have needs too, and I don't want to see someone I'm dating this long, like once or twice a month. I'm not a huge texter, but I feel like what I'm really like someone I can talk to at least once or twice a week. I'm just unsure how to approach. It's hard because I obviously want him to achieve his goals, but I miss him at the same time. You putting way too much on this. Okay, you've been having a 3 to 4 month old booty call. So notice how he doesn't really have time for you. You have to fit him in when he has time for you. That's booty call setup. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true that he's in grad school and all this and that, but whether it was grad school, he got a family to take care of, his aging parents, he's foster kids, his works too, whatever it is, there's something insurmountable in his life that you cannot fight against, and it's there, and he's not going to give it up. So whatever it is, he can't give you the relationship that you're looking for. Not right now. Maybe not ever. So you have a decision to make. Are you going to continue to waste your time spinning your wheels for a man who rolls through and taps it every couple of weeks? Or are you going to understand what the handwriting is on the wall and see dude when you see him? Because that's what he's doing to you. You don't make somebody a priority that doesn't makes you just what they call it. You made him a priority when you just an option. And you writing all this stuff and expressing all these emotions about some man that you ain't committed to, that ain't your man. You tripping. You should be having this same situation you got with 3-4 other dudes. So between all of them, see, your dance card will be full. I'm not saying you got to sleep with all of them. That's on you. But I'm saying you should be spending your time with more than one guy, especially in a situation like this where you barely see the dude and don't even really talk to him. He don't have time for her. He's not trying to either. Because I'm telling you, when people want to spend time with you, I'll tell you. My husband he was trying to set up a business. This is when networking was just really getting started and all that stuff. He tried to set up a business with his friend. They attended the Novell. It was the first network. It's called Novell. And because before that, all the computers were standalones. Nobody was networked. You had to physically take a disk from one machine to another and plug it in if somebody needed to get a document or something like that. So, these are olden days. And so he learned how to do that, and they set up a business. He was going all over the country putting in these networks for people. So when the man was in the process of setting up that business, we weren't married yet. We were just dating. And he would bring his laptop, and he would bring his paperwork, and he would bring his his files and stuff to my house, and he would sit at my dining room table, and I would sit at one table chair, and he'd sit at the other chair, and he would sit like, if he sat at the head of the table, I sat on the side, because he wanted to be able to look at me, right? He could look at me. He could reach across. He could touch me. He could talk to me. He could stand up and kiss me. But he was working while I was there. He brought his stuff to me so that he could see and interact with me while he did that. He was multitasking. Now, if a man really wants to see you and as busy as he was, he made time to do that. Don't you think somebody who's working on a project could see you for an hour or two at least once a week? if he was really interested in seeing you. So I want you girls to stop playing yourself so cheap. You have to look at the effort that a man puts into to be with you. If he's not putting forth any effort and everything else, everybody is a priority over you, then that ought to tell you something. He's not into you like that. You ain't the one for him. If he wants to be in your face, he's going to find a way to do it. They stopped by at lunchtime. Oh, I'm passing by. I jumped off the freeway just so I could see you. Hey, baby, how you doing? Give you a hug and a kiss. Sit there for 5 minutes. Well, I got to go. I got this appointment, but I'll talk to you later and stuff. We're going to hook up on the weekend and just now I'm going to take you out to dinner, blah, blah. Okay, then he's gone. But he wanted to see you. He wanted to smell your hair. He wanted to kiss your cheeks and grin at you and hold you. That meant something to him. He used to call it getting his recharge. So, I have that point of reference, and I like to share those stories because I want you guys to understand how a man acts when he really is into you and he loves you. If you ain't getting that treatment, leave him alone. Don't sacrifice. Don't compromise. Don't give up what you want just to have him around when he thinks about maybe possibly trying to imagine finding a space to fit you in. That's desperation. Don't treat yourself that way. I'm telling you, it's like sometimes it's like, you get sick of them. Like they be so fucking clingy. But it's like, that's still, it's respectful clingy. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, that kind of like, oh my God, you're a stalker. It wasn't like that. But, there has to be a balance between separation and him taking care of his business and him making you his business. There has to be a balance. And if you're not having that balance and it's just him all about himself and what he's trying to do and you ain't in the picture, then don't try to force yourself into the picture. Just go be in somebody else's picture. Then once you already got a frame ready and the glass ready and he ready to put you up on the wall and be like, yeah, that's my baby right there. That's what you do. You go where somebody wants you. You don't try to force yourself in a situation where nobody does. Whew. Question number 22. This is a young man I guess he ain't that young. 42 to 49. He's black and Irish from Columbus, Ohio. Writing about the wife is 35 to 41 and a Pisces. Okay, separate issue. Me and my wife went from best friends to her hating me after finding religion. Long story short, 20 years of marriage, 20 years of what seemed to be a pretty great marriage are now down the drain, and I'm in shock. Everything we did is now evil, and I'm a monster for bringing her to a strip club and for having dirty talk. Mind you, she mostly initiated doing these things before and seemed to love them. But Deb, 6 months ago, she started going to church, and now she barely says a word to me and goes into full-blown panic attacks when I even enter a room. I'm at a total loss of what to do. I offered to start going to church with her, but even that isn't good enough. I just don't know how to get my marriage back. How do I proceed, and how do you get someone who goes into panic mode to have a rational conversation? What you need to do, my brother, don't worry about that part. What you need to do is set up you and some friends. If you got some single friends, that's even better. Some people that she don't know would be ideal. Find out what church she goes to, what time she goes, when she going there. You need to see what's going on in this church, because I'm getting a real creepy vibe from this. Like she is being brainwashed, most likely by the pastor. There's some, your wife is, your wife is, she's 35 to 41. That's the prime age group for them old geezers in their 60s for them to be hitting on. She's probably a pretty lady. And they see, there has to be a reason why suddenly you're the evil one when you guys sound like you had a perfectly normal and happy, satisfying marriage before that. There's something going on. Now you're saying, you're just looking at the big picture like, she's starting to go to church. No. There's more to it than that. Don't be so superficial. You put your investigation coat on and you go to that church, you sneak in there in the back, you do something, you send a cousin, somebody she don't know, somebody you trust, a woman. You guys need to organize here. to figure out what the hell is going on in this church and who's talking to your wife and how they got in her head. What's going on? Something's going on. And you need to figure out what it is. And if it's some crazy stuff like I think it is, then you need to roll in there with your boys and jack that preacher up and then call the cops on him for, well, you take it one step at a time. But you write me back with what you find out, and then we're going to come up with a strategy to get her away from that place. Because I'm getting something is not right. This is too sudden, and it's not right, and it just sounds weird. It sounds like somebody's in her head. And so in order for them to get everything from your wife, they have to make you the bad guy. They have to put up a wall, for an emotional wall. And it's for her to show like, act like she's afraid of you after 20 years of marriage. That don't even sound right. That sounds like some brainwashing. I'm serious right now. I know it sounds all sci-fi and stupid, but these cults and stuff, that's how they work. That's how they operate. And they separate people from their family and friends for whatever nefarious purposes they have. Sometimes it's money. Sometimes it's, freak shit. I mean, you just don't know what's going on, but you need to find out. Okay. Well, it might be what she's attending is not really, okay, there's churches and then there's like cults. Right? He need to find out what's going on. Where's she going to getting all this churching at? What's what they saying to people? He needs to get information. He don't have none right now. This is all third-party information. Question number 23. This is a female in the 28 to 34 age group. She's Caucasian in the UK. Third issue. Question about introducing new partner to children. Deb, how long is the average time to wait before introducing children to a new partner? What is the appropriate range of time? My children are 10 and 8, and their dad moved out 3 months ago. We've been together their whole lives. It was only last week he had told me that he was single to now, this week asking if I'd be comfortable with introducing the children to his new girlfriend this weekend. As far as I can work out, they've been together a couple of months tops. Was I wrong in saying, no, I'm not comfortable with that yet? He was okay about it. We had always agreed that should we split that we'd wait a year before introducing new partners. I know now that he spends more time around his partner's child than his own. This worries me that our children may feel replaced. Or is that me projecting my own feelings? My oldest is especially quite emotionally aware and took the split quite hard. Yeah, 10 is old enough to understand a lot of stuff. It's a tough situation. I do feel a bit blindsided by it all. What do you recommend? I recommend that you sit down with that busted fool that you had the 2 kids by and explain to him, the kids are reeling emotionally. What kind of time do you spend with them to help them get over the hump? You need to make them a priority. It's not about you and it's not about your girlfriend. But being a typical man, he's worried about himself and his dang-a-lang. He ain't worried about his kids at all. He's worried about himself. So what you have to do is bring him back around and ask him what he plans to do about helping his children with their emotional devastation. Tell him, it's great that you have a new relationship, but how is that helping the kids? And ask him those hard kind of questions like that. You running scared from it and writing me, I can't help you. You need to be the mama bear and rise up on his ass and protect your kids. And he talking about the bitch and just say, no, you're not going to introduce my kids to some bitch that's probably not going to be here next week. You've been dealing with her for a couple of months. When you've been dealing with her for a year, let's have this conversation again. Because then she's more likely to be sticking around. I don't want my kids getting attached to somebody that you're going to throw away and replace again. Because you don't have a good track record, my brother. Ooh. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's typically how it is. I've always told you guys, men feel about their children the way they feel about the child's mother. That is just, I don't have any scientific research on that. It's just an observation that I've observed through my entire life. If he still loves the woman, even if they're not together, he's going to still be involved with his kids. If he's mad at her, he don't give a shit about her and cheated on her, lied to her, beat her ass and all this kind of stuff like that, he's not going to treat the children that he had with her any better because he can't stand her, so he can't stand nothing that came from her. And that's what a lot of women don't understand. Well, them his children. He should be able to, he's not going to be, he don't care because he can't stand your ass. So that means he can't stand theirs either. And there's a rare man who can make that difference I mean, I'm not saying that some can't, but those are rare. Okay. And if your kids got that kind of daddy, you should be like on your knees thanking Buddha, God, Jesus, Jehovah, everybody that he's sane, because most of them aren't. Let's move on to the next to last question. I'm trying to tell you. Question number 24. This is a young lady in the 22 to 27 age group. She's mixed race from London. The male is 22 to 27 and he's white/European. Summary of issue. My male friend randomly asked me if I'd ever done, booty things. Oh my God, I could not wait to write and tell you about this craziness. My relatively new friend and I were walking back home at night after an event. We have a similar sense of humor. You know how they put that "you" in there. Humor, so we generally enjoy joking and roasting each other. He's pretty sarcastic as well. He was making cheeky comments during the conversation, but it being later tonight and me being sleepy and having had a couple of beers beforehand, it made me hard to comprehend all his sarcasm. It was making me feel uncomfortable and vulnerable. I told him this and I asked him to stop. Later on, while walking past a bollard, please explain what that is to me. BOLLARD. He pretended to sit on it and made a joke about and I made a joke about butt things. He then bluntly asked me, "Have you ever done butt things?" I was taken aback and avoided answering the question. This made me very uncomfortable because I found it inappropriate to ask, given that we aren't okay, fuck that shit. You the one that brought it up. You brought it up. You the one that put that out there. Now you want to draw back and act like you so damn affected? Why did you say that shit to him then? See, you women kill me. You don't bring up something that's sexual in a conversation to a man and not expect him to pick up the ball and run downfield to make a goal with it. Touchdown. That's what they do. They look for any opening, and you just gave him one about some freak shit. And then you want to write me and act all affected and impacted and offended. You on some bullshit too. I came home and I just had an insane amount of anxiety in my body. I felt disgusted and unsafe. And I thought he was a sensible and sane man, but now I'm questioning that. You need to ask your damn self that question. You started this shit. Okay, you'd already told him to stop because y'all don't know how to control your tongues and you start going down rabbit holes with your sarcasm and cheekiness. And you asked him to stop and he did. But then you turn right around and open the door back up, and not only just open it up with cheeky stuff, you went straight to the freak zone. Firstly, I'm not sure if his behavior is objectively as bad as I perceived it to be. I have some trauma, so I wanted an outside opinion. Secondly, I'm not quite sure if I want to continue our friendship. If I decide to, I would seriously communicate everything and draw boundaries. It's too late for that, your stupid ass. My end goal is to keep myself safe and healthy while being able to objectively analyze this friendship. I love your thoughts and advice. Why do all the stupid women in the UK write me? Why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? Girlfriend, I know you about to get your feelings hurt, and guess what? I don't care. You started this shit. You did that. And then you won't have all these emotions about it and stuff. You don't talk about stuff like that. I've had male friends for decades. I've never once brought up anything like that. You said this is a relatively new friend. He don't know you yet. And do you think I would say some crap like that to my male friends? First of all, it's disrespectful to make something like that. I mean, you basically tell him he's gay. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, not that there's anything wrong with gay, but if he's a straight dude and you start calling him that, then that's usually seen as an insult. That's what I'm saying, okay? But that's what you did. And so then he fired back with his thing, will ask you, have you ever done it? And now you want to be out impacted and affected and offended. You on some bullshit too, just like that other chick. I can't help you with this. Take your silly ass to a shrink and find out why you so stupid. And the final question of the night, I'm irritated as hell now. Oh, just dumb. Yeah, she set her own self up. I'm irritated too, giggles. Yeah, we put UK on the timeout. That's what we need to do, because this letters tonight, these people, something wrong with them. So the final question of this crazy column for tonight is a young man in the 22 to 27 age group from Bend, Oregon. Summary of issue, is rude behavior becoming the norm in dating these days? So I have a feeling you another snowflake, but let's see what's going on. I'd like to get your take on this question. Is it becoming commonplace that when you show interest in someone, they might know they might know they aren't into you. But instead of just not responding or saying they are not interested, they ask for something a bit personal, making it sound like they're interested, like your name, a picture, etc. And then they reply right away that it won't work out or that they are not interested and don't reciprocate what they ask. Is this becoming commonplace? You asking me? I don't mess with them swipey things. I don't have no clue. I think it's really rude and maybe even invisibly discriminatory because I bet they don't do this kind of thing to everyone. You don't know what the fuck they do. It's just like my cousin up there coming up with crazy conversation. Okay, let's go over this. First of all, sir, you on a damn app. Them people don't know you. You don't know them. Them people don't give a fuck about you. You, for some reason, have all these feelings invested in what complete strangers on the other side of the internet do and say to you and how they respond to you, and you getting all fucking attached. You that kind of person, you know, they probably understand just by the way that you communicate that you too clingy. And that if they did go out with you, that you would become like a vampire of their feelings and a damn stalker if they decided they didn't want to see you again. So they deuce out early because they get the vibe. Okay, that's the vibe that you give off. The sense of entitlement because they asked for your picture or name or something. Now they owe you something and you mad that you don't get it. Check yourself, fool. Nobody owes you shit. And just because they not interested, if you interested in them, then that just put your big boy pants on. And if they shoot you down and don't give you nothing, move on to the next one. There's 55 million women on them appy things, them swipey things. You know, if you go only for the women that you attracted to, go for the ugly girl. Go for the women that you're not that attracted to. I bet you could get some dates in and they'd be very interested in you and then you could be happy. You'd be getting some booty and you'd be thrilled. They'd be happy too because they'd have some companionship and some stuff be happening. You know what I mean? Sometimes you dudes be like overshooting your range of effectiveness. You are 3 or 4 and you sitting up there trying to shoot for 8s and 9s and it's not going to happen. Why don't you as a 3 or 4 shoot for a 3 or 4, maybe 5, and then you can get somebody. But y'all don't be realistically assessing yourself. You see yourself with your 2'3" wide ass and tall too, looking like a cube. And you be thinking that you deserve somebody to look like Beyonce because you got a little job and a degree, an apartment, and a car. You know what I mean? Those are the basic accoutrements of adulthood. And women have those things too. So, that ain't putting you on no special platform of wonderfulness. Look in the mirror. Look at that body. Look at the man boobs you got. Look at your lack of muscle tone. Look at your shortness, your width. Look at your stroke game. Look at all the things about you that might make a woman interested in you or want to stay with you and see if you're really up to par and be honest with yourself. And then ratchet down your expectations and stay in the range of a woman that's in your level. And then you can get somebody. But y'all be just overreaching. They be over fucking reaching. I know he already knew because that's Candy Lane. That's what gave me the clue that he's overreaching. He's going for the women that he's attracted to versus the women that would be attracted to him. And see, that's where dudes make their major mistake. They think with the little head. And so they going for what, exciting in that way. But them women don't want him. If you got a woman that's an 8 or 9 or 10 on the look scale and she's banging like that, then she gonna be going for the dudes that are ballers. Even if he's not looking that great, he gonna have money out the yin yang. He gonna have prestige. He gonna be a celebrity. There's gonna be something like that, and those kind of girls can get those kind of men because they have the looks to carry it. They have the looks that them guys want. Why would they deal with you working at Google when they could get somebody who plays for the NBA or the NFL or hockey league or something? A baller, big time money. He's a CEO or something. He got his own company. I don't know, whatever these little boys be doing, making millions. She can get that kind of dude. Why would she settle for you? A 9-to-5er. So, dudes need to put all of this together that I'm saying. Don't feel bad about yourself. This is a map for you to assess your true market value in the romantic world. Your romantic market value. Make it assessment and an honest one, and then stay within the range of the woman that would be attracted to you. Stop overreaching. That's why you all keep getting disappointed. You doing too much. You just reaching for the stars when you need to reach for the rock next to you, because you a rock yourself. Okay? That's what you need to do. Rocks don't fly up to the moon, and rocks don't deserve stars. Rocks get other rocks, maybe a tree or a bush or something. But that's what you're going to get. And that's it. That's all. That's it. This is for this wonderful show. We'll be back tomorrow for the Dusty News Network. And then I'm going to start planning my webinar on Just Say No for December sometime. Right around Christmas time, probably before Christmas, when everybody's bored. And those of us who don't have little kids and don't have shit else to do. But I'll need something to do to keep me out of trouble, because otherwise it could be all bad. You know what I mean? My grandma used to say an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And the idle mind over here gets into mucho problemo. Don't mind my bad fake Spanish. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.